Montana and Mexican drug cartels? Yup.
This isn't just a pass-through state. This is one of the top targeted states.
Look at the amount of fentanyl seized by the Montana Highway Patrol, skyrocketing numbers.
What's going on in Grand Forks?
This is really a story about everyday American people who took on their own city council.
You've sold us out to China.
Human smuggling ramping up. U.S. citizens are actually transporting these undocumented individuals.
What would you tell someone who's considering doing this?
Extremely eye-opening.
Live from 42nd and 2nd, this is New York's very own PIX 11 News at 5.
Now at 5, police say a woman was raped in a building on the Upper West Side. We'll tell you what investigators know so far. But first, a massive 5-alarm fire in a supermarket in the Bronx that's injured 7 people. Fire marshals saying it was caused by an exploding lithium-ion battery which powered an e-bike. Hello, everyone. I'm Katie Tong. Our PIX 11's McGee Hickey's live for us right now on the Grand Concourse near 180th Street with all the details. McGee, another fire triggered by an e-bike or the battery, the lithium-ion battery.
Yeah, the battery, and just, 4 days, Katie, after the city council passed a bill turning it into law now to strengthen the safety regulations regarding e-bikes. There are still pockets of fire from this massive fire in the supermarket. It broke out such a long time ago this morning at 10:40. They are still trying to put out the fire at the Concourse Food Plaza on the Grand Concourse at 181st Street. This 5-alarm fire broke out at 10:41 in the morning. And when firefighters arrived on the scene, they saw an e-bike had erupted, exploded, burst into flames in the back of the grocery store supermarket. And fire officials say in just 5 minutes, the flames were so intense from that exploding lithium-ion battery from the e-bike that the flames had spread to the entire very large supermarket and the laundromat next door. In all, more than 200 firefighters and 50 units fought this 5-alarm fire. 7 people were injured, including 5 firefighters, a Con Ed worker, and an EMS member. None of their injuries are life-threatening. All are considered minor. And the fire commissioner and the mayor said yet again, an e-bike is to blame.
Is an extraordinary amount of damage from this single bike that you can see here to my left. This call came in around 10:41 a.m. this morning. We are still here fighting this fire. We have over 50 units, fire and EMS on scene. We have over 200 members. We have 7 injuries, 5 firefighters, 1 member of EMS, and 1 civilian. Everyone is stable. But this really shows you how incredibly serious this can be.
The video is chilling. When you saw how fast this fire started and spread, it just really gives you a point of pause to see what the commissioner has been stating for some time now. We have to really adapt to the use of these batteries. We must make sure that the illegal batteries are not in the city, and then we have to educate the public.
And part of that new bill passed into law at the city council is a public safety education about these e-bikes. In all, in 2022, there were 216 fires that were started by e-bike battery explosions, and including 6 deaths. We are live in the Bronx. McGee Hickey, PIX 11 News. Back to you, Katie.
Yeah, they are so dangerous if used improperly. Thank you so much for that, McGee. Well, police are investigating the death of a woman who may have been killed by toxic chemicals in Midtown East. Officials say the 35-year-old was found unresponsive in a car parked at 56th Street and Sutton Place at about 11:30 this morning. Police sources say when first responders opened the door, they were sickened by this powerful odor from liquid chemicals inside that vehicle. A hazmat team removed the material and secured the area. You see them there. The EMS workers were not seriously hurt. The chemicals have not been identified, but police say no criminality is suspected. To the Upper West Side now, where police are searching for a man who raped a woman in a building in a very busy part of that neighborhood. Let's go right now to Katie Corrado for more on this story. Good evening, Katie.
Good evening, Heidi. As you mentioned, police are trying to find this man who raped a woman here on the Upper West Side, just blocks away from Lincoln Center. Police say that this happened around 1:20 in the morning on Saturday, so very early yesterday morning. Police say that this suspect followed a 21-year-old woman into a building in the area of West End Avenue and West 65th Street. And if you recognize the suspect, you're asked to call Crime Stoppers right away. The number 1-800-577-TIPS. Reporting live on the Upper West Side, Katie Corrado, PIX 11 News. Katie.
All right. Thank you, Katie. The NYPD is investigating an apparent hate crime in Queens. The incident happened on Thursday, was captured on surveillance camera. A 44-year-old woman and a 24-year-old man were walking on Junction Boulevard. Police say a woman inside an Acura SUV yelled an anti-Asian slur at the woman. She then threw water on her. The woman and two men got out of the SUV and proceeded to kick and punch both victims, then got back into the vehicle and drove away. The two victims were taken to the hospital for injuries to the head. A bicyclist is in critical condition tonight after collided with a sedan in the Bronx last night. This is Citizen App video from around 9:30 last night at the intersection of 142nd Street and Brook Avenue in Mott Haven. Police say the driver of a white Toyota had the right-of-way as he was going through that intersection. The bicyclist strikes the car, ends up on the pavement. He wasn't wearing a helmet, and he suffered severe head trauma. The driver of the Toyota just kept on driving after the collision. A New York man has pleaded guilty to attacking and robbing a police officer at the U.S. Capitol on January 6th. Thomas Sibik admitted he was among the rioters who punched, kicked, and tased Officer Michael Fanone. Body cam video recorded him forcefully taking the officer's badge, vest, shield, and radio. Sibik buried the badge in his backyard when he returned to Buffalo. He is the third person convicted for the attack on Fanone, who suffered a heart attack and head trauma. Sibik faces more than 5 years in prison when sentenced in July. All right, let's send things over now to meteorologist Star Harvey. This is definitely the better of our 2 days this weekend. I saw a little bit of sun, Star.
Yeah, that's right, Katie. We started off rough yesterday, but today we are finishing up things pretty good. We did see our highs today come in just as we expected, low to upper 50s. This is about 5 to 10 degrees above how we saw yesterday's temperatures. Right now, we're still getting a nice dose of sunshine, not just across Jersey, but across the 5 boroughs. Long Island still sitting in the 50s there. We have some mid-40s to the Hudson Valley. Now, winds yesterday were extremely blustery. Today, they've calmed down just a little bit, but they do still have a kick. We're talking anywhere from about 15 to 25 miles per hour, and that'll be the case getting us through the remainder of today. We also have a few gusty winds out there. You'll see them not just at the park, but for areas of the Connecticut coast there, as well as the Hudson Valley, Long Island, and those numbers do range from 20 to about 35 miles per hour. All is clear and dry there on the satellite and radar. We do continue with that northwest flow, and we'll get through a really nice evening here with temperatures still sitting above where they should be. We're expecting 47 within the next hour, mostly clear skies and a nice cool down pushing into the remainder of our evening. Things are going to switch up on us tomorrow, Katie. I'll have those details coming up, but for now, back to you.
Yeah, there's going to be a change. All right, thank you for that, Star. Still to come on the PIX 7 News at 5, the LGBTQ community speaks out against the Staten Island St. Patrick's Day parade, why they're saying the city should pull public funds. Plus, an Upper Manhattan tradition turns 25. We'll have more on this year's New York Roadrunners Washington Heights 5K after this. The St. Patrick's Day Parade rolled down the North Shore today, attracting people from all over Staten Island to celebrate Irish pride. But the ongoing ban of LGBTQ groups from being part of this parade once again cast a shadow on the celebration. PIX 11's Amy Yancey has more. Well, plenty of elected officials were on hand for St. Patrick's festivities in Queens. The annual St. Pat's for All parade was held in Sunnyside this afternoon. Dozens of community groups and associations came out to celebrate Irish history and culture. Organizers say this event is welcome to all, regardless of religion, ethnicity, or sexual orientation. Similar inclusive parades are being held in cities all across the U.S. this month. All right, let's check back in now with Star Harvey. I hope you got some rest, Star. You got quite the schedule right now.
I did. You know, today has been a day, and yes, I did. I have had plenty of coffee, and I had a chance to actually dip out and get me a nap. So, refreshed and re-energized. Let's get to some weather headlines. We have had a beautiful wrap-up to our weekend here. Sunshine. We'll gradually start to see those clouds decrease moving into this evening, which will leave us with a chilly night. We are talking 30s for the city and even lower than that moving across areas north and west of the park. As for tomorrow, we are going to start off very similar to what we saw today. So a bright start, but then we'll have those clouds building in for the second half of the day. And all of that does come ahead of our next rain/wintry mix system making its way through. All in all, temperatures, even with that, do remain pretty seasonable, getting us through the rest of next week. Let's talk about tonight. Across the Hudson Valley, we have areas that will struggle to get out of the 20s, hence Liberty there at 26 degrees. Most of the other areas sitting at or below that freezing mark, and White Plains there at about 34. Across Jersey later tonight, we do see this being one of those spots where we do have that clearing happening, again, to the west of the city. So 30 in Sussex, we'll have 32 in Princeton and Lakewood coming in at 34. Lots of clouds across both the South and North Shore. Temperatures, this is going to be one of the warmer spots, if I shall say. We are talking still low to mid 30s, and then we get to tomorrow. Again, we do start off with that high pressure still in the region, and what it's doing is allowing for, again, that sun and mix clouds there, and then we do have our temperatures about 2 to 3 degrees cooler than what we saw today, but still in the 50s. Hudson Valley expected to be in the low to mid 40s tomorrow, 49 there in White Plains, 49 in Riverhead tomorrow as well. Portions of the North Shore making it into the low 50s, and we'll even have Fairview County there as well as New Haven making it into the 50s. Now, these clouds that we're dealing with is because we do have a trough in the area. That low sitting off to the north of us did bring some flurries across not just Suffolk County, but also portions of the Hudson Valley, not so much impacting us now. We have this lovely high pressure system that has really been dominating the region, but again, tomorrow things switching up. We have these two systems that are expected to combine, and all of that moisture riding along it are expected to bring those showers into our area. Of course, I'll have a breakdown of how mild these temperatures are going to get and also the timing of our next system in your 7-day. For now, Heidi, back to you.
Okay, Star, thank you. More than 6,000 athletes from across the 5 boroughs were in Upper Manhattan today for the annual New York Roadrunners Washington Heights Salsa, Blues, and Shamrock 5K. You say that 3 times fast. The race course celebrates a vibrant and diverse community of Washington Heights as it takes runners along Fort Washington Avenue, under the George Washington Bridge, and through Fort Tryon Park. Our cameraman caught up with the family moments after they crossed the finish line.
I love fun races. You see outfits on my thing, and I just enjoy being out with my friends and family. My son here, who's way faster than we are, but it's not how fast you go, it's that you finish.
There you go. This race has been happening since 1998. All right, let's then send things over now to Joe Masseri with a look at what's coming up in sports, of course. Hey there, Joe.
Hey there, Katie. I love that attitude. It's not how fast you go as long as you finish. Coming up, a couple of debuts on the bump for the Mets and Yanks, plus some flashbacks for Nets fans as KD and Kyrie share the same court. You might want to look away. The highlights coming up in sports. Spring training baseball, the Mets and Cards in Sarasota. New acquisition Kodai Senga making his debut for the Amazons. Tonight, the Nets face the Hornets. The Knicks are in Boston. And in football news, Jets tackle Dwayne Brown says he's coming back for his 17th season. He needed surgery to repair a torn left rotator cuff. We'll have more on all of it tonight on New York Sports Nation at 11. Katie?
All right, Joe, thank you for that. Still to come, the newly opened Grand Central Madison was supposed to help the LIRR is now creating some issues for the LIRR, how the updated schedules are leading to overcrowding. And coming up, Governor Murphy's new budget announcement comes with good news for Jersey commuters. More on that right after the break.
You're watching the PIX 11 News at 5.
Well, since the Long Island Railroad expanded service to the east side of Manhattan this past Monday, multiple problems have already popped up. Overcrowding, diverted trains, more transfers, the list goes on. Thanks for staying with us. I'm Katie Tong. The woman in charge of the railroad says she is listening and she is taking action. But is that enough? PIX 11's James Ford has more from Grand Central Terminal as soon as possible. All right. Traffic, as you know, often crawls along the BQE, and the same could be said for the process to redesign that busy stretch of roadway. The NYC Department of Transportation released some new ideas for the section that runs through Brooklyn Heights. It could extend the Brooklyn Heights Promenade and create a park over the road decks that would connect the neighborhoods to Brooklyn Bridge Park and include pedestrian access. These plans are still a couple of years away, though. All right. New Jersey Governor Phil Murphy says the price to ride New Jersey Transit will not increase for at least the next year. He made that announcement during the rollout of his sweeping $53 billion budget. Henry Rosso breaking it all down for us now. All right, up next, a trio of Florida med schools found to be selling thousands of fake diplomas to prospective nurses in multiple states. Details on that investigation, including the impact on New York. And more public restrooms coming to New York City, how these modular toilets differ from traditional bathrooms. Pretty. Medical licensing officials in multiple states, including New York, are scrambling to stop nurses with fake academic credentials from caring for patients. The Fed shut down 3 Florida nursing schools that they say sold thousands of bogus diplomas. Prosecutors say about 8,000 students paid an average of $15,000 for these sham credentials. Of those, around 2,400 then passed a licensing exam to get work as registered nurses. New York regulators told 903 nurses in recent weeks to either surrender their licenses or prove they were properly educated. Well, this week, a crowd rallied outside City Hall. They want New York City to protect workers from weight-based discrimination. There's a measure under consideration right now called the Size Freedom Bill.
What do we want? Size freedom! Do we want it now?
The bill would prohibit discrimination based on height or weight. This would apply to employment, housing, and access to public accommodations. Advocates say workers desperately need this protection.
They are shamed and bullied for their size, and that's not right. Our workers are refused jobs and promotions, and that's not right.
The bill sponsor says passing this would make employers think about whether size played a role in their decisions. Well, there will finally be more places to use the bathroom in New York City parks. Starting this summer, modular toilets will come to each borough of the city. These toilets are created by Portland Loo, an Oregon-based metal firm. Pilot outposts are expected to be placed in Bushwick, East Harlem, and Astoria, as well as Graniteville on Staten Island and the Concourse section of the Bronx. These prefabricated potties would cost the city less than building traditional bathrooms, but they also require the Parks Department to run new electric and water lines. When we come back, a fire department volunteer plans to hike the entire Appalachian Trail. Hear what inspired his journey. That's up ahead.
We got seasonable temperatures yesterday. Today, we are much milder with beautiful conditions in those skies. Things are switching up on us as early as tomorrow. I'll have those details and more on the other side of this break.
One local fire department volunteer who survived 9/11 is hiking the entire Appalachian Trail, which spans more than 2,000 miles. Robert Weisberg is raising funds for the Paws of War Foundation that's currently training his dog, Chip, to be a service dog, something he says saved his life. Photojournalist Keith Lopez was at a send-off and has a story from Nescaucet. We wish him well, absolutely. 2,000-mile trek. Good for him. All right, let's take a look outside. It's pretty and pastel-y right now. Very nice. But there's a change, Star is telling us, right, Star?
Yes, Heidi. A beautiful start to our weekend. It's going to end that way in terms of today. Tomorrow things do change up as well. So taking a look right now, temperatures still on the mild side across Jersey at least. We have those upper 40s to mid 50s along the shore there, 54 in Belmar, Newark at 52, Andover not looking so bad either, holding on to that 49. Central Park also at the 49 mark across the island there, Nassau as well as Suffolk County in the 50s. The Hudson Valley 46 degrees there in Newburgh. So as we shift into tonight, we are expecting to see those mostly clear to partly cloudy skies. It is going to be chilly out there in the city, 37 degrees, and we do have some suburbs where we may experience some of that radiational cooling, and that's going to drop our temperatures down into the 20s, so well below that freezing mark. But tomorrow, we do rebound quite nicely. We get another day where we have that sunshine to start the day. Clouds are filtering in later, but temperature-wise, we'll be on the mild side, still about 5 to 10 degrees above where we should be. But we've been anticipating another system moving in from the west, and that is what is expected to bring not just a chance of some rain showers, but also some more of that wintry mix. As for today, we started off with sunshine. Some clouds have filtered in, and that's due to that trough hanging around the area. High pressure has been in the zone since last night. It will continue to influence our conditions, not just for today, but for the early parts of tomorrow. And then here comes the good stuff. Precipitation-wise, we are looking at two systems moving in from the west. They combine, and yes, that is what brings our showers as early as the second half of tomorrow. Now, we have two models indicating the chance for some wintry mix on one, and then the other one does keep all of that energy fairly to the south of the area. I want to go ahead and walk you through our GFS model here. Where we get to tomorrow, we start off pretty sunny, clouds building in towards the afternoon. We have a chance for some flurries moving across the area as we get into that evening commute. But take a look at what happens into the late evening hours into early Tuesday morning. That is the possibility of not just some rain showers south, a hard freezing line across the city and some of our boroughs, and then the Hudson Valley as well as portions of North Jersey getting some of that snowfall. Getting into the early hours of Tuesday, same model does show that we have the chance for some more of that snow collecting across the city. All in all, GFS puts us anywhere from about close to an inch to 2 inches across portions of Jersey there. An inch for areas point north. I'm going to go ahead and get you through the RPM here because this one's showing something different. We do start off tomorrow with sunshine. That is clear across the board. This model not as aggressive. We have those clouds building in. We do see all of that energy is remaining to the south of us, and it's indicating that by the time we get to Tuesday morning, clouds for the worst part. All in all, we are starting off with sunshine. We can agree on that. Those showers moving in late to Monday into Tuesday, drying back out by the middle of the week. Heidi.
Okay, thank you, Star. You know, many of the queens of hip-hop all hail from Queens, and the talent isn't confined to the women. How the borough served as an incubator for industry-defining music. And coming up at 6, a local bakery employs people with special needs. Their business just keeps on growing, so now they need a new location. Hear from a baker. That's up ahead.
Get ready for the Mets. We're swinging into action when the Mets take on the Rays. March 12th at 1 p.m. on PIX 11, New York's very own.
Tonight we're going to Queens, where some of the biggest names in the hip-hop scene are women. This is the last installment in our borough-to-borough coverage of 50 years of hip-hop. Ayana Harry has the story. Take a look. Wow, what a great piece that was. One man making history with the first Black-owned vegan donut shop in Brooklyn Heights. Cloudy Donuts opened last fall, but has already been nominated for Best Vegan Donut in the country. Along with a range of 44 specialty flavors, they also offer donuts for dogs. Owner Derek Falcon says his business is all about social change and community. And he's also kicking off a second business called The Brown Collective that's all about creating spaces for culinary creatives of color.
We all focused on specifically reverse gentrification, which is putting black faces in white spaces, being able to go to affluent white communities, introduce those communities to our culture.
Cloudy Donut rolls out 8 new flavors each and every weekend. They're also crowdfunding to open a new location in Manhattan. Okay, that does it for us at 5. Your news at 6 starts right now.
Live from 42nd and 2nd. This is New York's very own PIX 11 News at 6.
Now at 6, today was the St. Patrick's Day parade in Staten Island, but it wasn't enjoyable for everyone. Why the LGBTQ plus community is speaking out against this annual event. But first, 7 people have been hurt in this massive fire that police say was caused by an exploding lithium-ion battery which powered an e-bike. Thanks for joining us for the PIX 7.